Now we are being joined by two directors who are bringing the Prop 8 trial to the masses in a whole new media way. When the Supreme Court, in a narrow 5-4 ruling, blocked cameras in the courtroom, it was a big letdown for hundreds of thousands of citizens who wanted to hear the arguments and the evidence. Indeed, only 35 people in the country had asked not to see what was going on in a courtroom that would decide the fate of civil rights for so many. Instead of giving in to the defeat, though, these two producers made the trial a reality, circumventing the blackout by using actual transcripts to recreate the trial word for word, day by day, delivering it freely as videocast from their website, marriagetrial.com. Welcome, John Ireland and John Ainsworth.
Thank you for having us.
So, have you guys caught up on your sleep yet?
Just about. We've actually, finally gotten a little bit of sleep, a little bit of rest. As of Saturday, all 65-plus hours of the footage is up live on YouTube.
Oh, this sounds like such a crazy project. Now, when you started it, did you think, I'm going to embark on something that will take hundreds and hundreds of hours?
It's funny. Ainsworth and I thought probably the first couple of days that we would just put these things out the next day. You know, we get the transcripts. Actually, we started from bloggers' tweets and stuff. I mean, we were just like conforming a script each day. We get the actors in the mock courtroom here in L.A., and then we just figured we would just edit it overnight. We wouldn't sleep for a couple of days. We'd put it out the next day. People would watch it, and then we'd go on to the next day.
That sounds so easy.
Didn't happen that way.
It sounded easy.
We learned a lot of lessons.
As soon as we realized the sheer monstrosity of what we were about to embark on, we had some pretty big shoes to fill. You know, I mean, we set ourselves up with quite a daunting task, but I think we actually came through, and we did a great job with it.
It's worked out quite well. We had looked at each other on Saturday, literally like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock, and we're like, we made it.
We're done for now, ostensibly, until we end up with the last day of the trial.
Well, I understand that there could be a sequel due to the evidentiary process, but before we go there, I want to hear about the conversation you had with the court clerk when you were getting the transcripts at first. How did that go?
Oh, well, okay. We thought, we had created these first 3 episodes, January 11, 12, and 13, and we shot them. We actually did them that next weekend with actors, on a SAG contract and everything, 3 cameras with tapes and everything. And then we got the transcripts because they were released by the American Rights Foundation
for Equal Rights.
Yeah. And the thing is, we had contacted the clerk and said, well, we'd love to order these expedited transcripts. Can we do that? And she said, well, it's a lot of money. But that's okay. We'll give you my credit card number and we'll just get it. She goes, it's tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And I said, for the whole trial? She said, no, that's each day. So at that point, we're like, we'll write it ourselves.
Justice is expensive.
But then the transcripts became available in about after the 6th day, I think, on that Tuesday of the following week. They were, all of a sudden we had 7 days of transcripts. So we went back and we looked at what we had already shot and what actually happened, and they were 2 very different things. So we started back.
We started recognizing some noticeable holes in what we had. Well, I mean, you're culling this transcript based on what the bloggers are doing, and it's all their shorthand. So you're trying to now mix together 5 different people and use that as what happened in the courtroom.
It was great, but it wasn't.
It wasn't real. Transcript. Yeah, it wasn't the actual truth. So
someday we'll release that on our DVD extras.
There you go.
Those days.
So how did the casting process go?
Wow, that's a good question. It started out with posting to Craigslist looking for actors and, just trying to find anyone that would be involved because it was all done as a donation of their time. So we were just literally asking anyone if you could come in and read a script, then great. We started realizing that both actors being actors ourselves, that we needed to get some more professional actors as well. Plus, we were doing this under the the SAG agreement for new media, so we wanted to use qualified, highly trained actors, and we started getting friends and friends that we had that were in the business and having them call their friends. And shortly within the first week of casting, doing the actual trial, we ended up with some amazing actors.
Oh, we had Tess Harper,
Adrienne Barbeau,
Getty Watanabe. He plays William Tam. You know him from 16 Candles.
16 Candles.
Oh, I remember, yeah.
You can't forget.
Oh, that's great.
That's what he's most famous for.
Hot stuff.
There you go.
There you go. Well, and that's about the accent that William Tam has, too. So, I mean, you'll get a flashback watching that episode 8.
I remember one of the...
Irish and Chinese. You do all the accents in here.
I can do it.
We're very talented here. So, because I had a question about that, because I've really been enjoying the trial. One of the nice things, this is such a perfect new media project because one of the things I like that you do is it's really primary source material, but you're letting people watch a courtroom in a way that they wouldn't necessarily on TV, because you're giving them 3 camera views at the same time. You get to see the judge, you get to see the attorneys, and you get to see the witness answering as they're proceeding. And it's all there all at the same time, so you can kind of watch it. But my question was on the Protect Marriage attorney. Does he really have a Southern accent?
Cooper, yeah.
Yes,
Really?
Charles Cooper.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and actually we had John Ireland had been in touch with a couple of people that were in the courtroom itself, and so we had, for example, the courtroom sketch artist was actually in contact with us and was letting us know what some of the people were like while in the.
Yeah, so the wardrobe is kind of close to what they're not always, but mostly we were trying to approximate wardrobe, the look. Of course, casting, you don't always go for the exact look. You go for the talent, for an actor that can really deliver, especially in a cold read scenario, which is what this was. They didn't have a lot of time to prepare, and they all did wonderfully. But having those sources in the courtroom was extremely important, because we had to make sure that, like, he had a Southern accent. That was information to the actor, who then used it to create the character.
Oh, because I don't know, there's something very integral to the personality, the delivery. So if you're tuning in now, we're talking to the producers who brought us the Prop 8 trial, which is available on marriagetrial.com, to John Ireland and John Ainsworth.
Yes, thank you.
It's really such a wonderful program. One of the things I really like that you're able to see is you get to see the plaintiff testimonies. You get to see what were some of the best ofs for you.
If somebody doesn't have 65 hours, to watch the whole thing, I would say episode 1 is a great place to start, because not only do you get the opening statements from both sides, but you've also got the plaintiffs, who are compelling. It's the first time that gay and lesbian people have talked about their lives and their love in federal court. It's a precedent. And it's touching for me as a gay person to watch that. So I think episode 1 is a treasure trove.
Oh, it was. What I really liked too is that when the defense or the plaintiff's attorney just kind of said, well, why doesn't the defense attorney, why don't they want their record recorded for posterity? Because there was one thing that the other side did not want. They did not want this broadcast. They did not want it videocast. They didn't even want it recorded for posterity. They wanted everything in just in secrecy. And what were some of the key points of the trial? What are some of your favorite trial?
Well, I think that the highlights, the highlight reel, certainly should include the testimony of William Tam. He's the gentleman who really, one of the defendant interveners, who initially said, I will defend this. Because remember, Schwarzenegger and Jerry Brown, the attorney general, they're not defending this. They agree it's unconstitutional, Prop 8. So people had to step in. So William Tam said, I'm going to defend this so that Prop 8 is not overturned. And then as soon as he realized he'd be on YouTube, he was like, no, thank you. I'm out of here. I don't want to be on. And they compelled him to testify. So his testimony is particularly interesting to watch. I think it's a must-see.
And that's on day 8. So if you're
Day
looking
8.
at if you're looking to go to see that, it's day 8.
What was it in particular that he said that really caught your ear?
One of the things was he was saying that homosexuals are not a minority. I'm a minority.
Chinese. I'm a minority.
And he had, and he also, there was one great moment where they were saying, well, where did you come up with this idea that gays would lead to, gay marriage would lead to pedophilia and prostitution and bestiality.
Yeah.
This is what gay marriage is going to lead to. And he said, well, I saw it on the internet. And he said, well, can you tell me where?
He said on a website.
On a website.
And
somebody said, but you believe this? And he says, yes. Well, it was on the internet.
Didn't he also say that he believes everything that he sees and reads?
Right, exactly. And then but the problem with what he was saying was that he then took that and printed it up in Chinese on flyers and distributed it to the greater community in the San Francisco area. Really pushing for the vote yes on Prop 8. So you're using this misinformation as a means and scare tactics, really. So it's great to be being held to that.
This is really the value of this. The lesson of this entire process for me is when you put this up to cross-examination, their lies do not stand up. So bottom line, that's why they didn't want us to see it, because it answers the question, which is, where did you get that? I made it up. So
you have one more day, or perhaps more if they extend the evidentiary.
Yeah.
We have one more day of closing testimony that's coming up?
The closing arguments. Right now the trial has both the plaintiffs and the defendant interveners have rested their case. That may change tomorrow. Again, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But then once they go into once they schedule it, we're thinking sometime mid-April to late April, we're going to have the closing arguments, and then the trial should be done.
Well, thank you, John Ireland and John Ainsworth. They're just doing really great work. Everyone who wants to see this trial can go see it at marriagetrial.com for free. And they have everything broken down by different days, so you can just play and fast forward while you're doing your other things.
Exactly.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks
I
for
can't
having us.
wait to go watch that. I will totally sit around and watch hours and hours of that. Not at one time, but it's going to be amazing. I'm so glad you guys did this. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
It's a great service for the community.
Well, thank you. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
saying that, and thanks for supporting us. And if anyone wants to donate, we also have a donate now button right now to kind of cover some of our production
Even
costs.
$5. Wouldn't that be nice?
All been just out of our pockets.
One more time, what is the website?
MarriageTrial.com.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.